Well, let's talk about why cybersecurity. Now, this is one of my favorite slides, so I hope you guys are ready. Talking so much here, I'm gonna need to be hydrating. All right, well, let's talk about it. Why cybersecurity? Because it is the number one skill set of the future. Now, it may sound biased because I'm in cyberspace. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to prove it. Okay. Pull up everything that I'm saying. I want you guys to research yourself and check out these receipts. Okay. Cybersecurity is the front line of defense and the backbone to every single industry. Now, that's a powerful statement for me to say, right? I got to be able to back that up if I can say it, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Right. So when I say the front line of defense and backbone to every industry, that's what I'm considering cybersecurity to be the number one trade of the 21st century. Right. When you guys think of trades, what do you think about? I'll give you one. I'll give you a hint. Right. Electrician. Everyone here has heard of electrician, right? You don't go to college for 4 or 5 years to become an electrician. Right. Welder. Right. What's another version of a trade? Anyone ever? Plumber? Thank you. Plumber, electrician, welder. Anything else? You guys are missing a major one. What about like a cosmetologist? What a carpenter? Right? What about someone who does hair? Right? A barber? Exactly. These are trades, right? These are all different kind of trades. And so a nurse, these are different trades. But cybersecurity is the number one trade of the 21st century in the age of information technology. Right? It's the future of work. It's the future of work. You guys know this, right? We're seeing it now, no matter what industry you're in, right? We've seen this with, it looks like some of these got distorted. I do apologize for that. I don't believe it was like that in in my other slide. And Janet, do you want me to pivot to the Canva? Would that be easier for visibility?
It's up to you. I think it's okay. I mean, we can figure it out.
Okay. If it's distorted on the next slide, then I'll pivot over. But we'll walk through this, as we need to, as we see fit. So when we talk about the future of work, right? Every single company, industry has opportunities for folks to work remote, right? It's just where we are today in today's age is the opportunities of working remote are very prevalent. And so again, I see folks, commenting in the chat, and make sure I address that. And so you guys are working remote. For the folks who have been working for the last 2.5, 3 years, I don't know how long we've been in this pandemic. It feels like forever, right? Are we mid-pandemic, post-pandemic? Are we in pandemic 3.0? I don't know. But with that being said, folks are able to work remote. And I'll talk about that in the next couple of statements with respect to what did it do with the landscape. But what has happened is we've been seeing a steady increase in cyber attacks, right? The pandemic exposed how our security posture was very weak and unstable, like for everyone. And it's really because, during the pandemic, right? You had 40 million people getting furloughed and terminated. And so what happened to the folks that were lucky enough to keep their jobs? What happened to those folks? You had Sally in sales and teachers and students who were who barely went to class, now be forced to go to class virtually, right? And you had folks who've never even used a computer, who aren't technical, who have no cybersecurity awareness and education, right? No cybersecurity hygiene, forced to work from home. And that's if they were even lucky to keep their job, right? So with that being said, what do you think happened during the pandemic when you have all these uneducated, unequipped users online? I'll tell you what happened. Attacks rose by 60% because these APTs, and I'll talk about that, right? These attack organizations, they knew that there's a bunch of guppies in the water now. We're coming up big fish, and we're going to come and scoop up these users who don't know anything about anything. They don't know the first thing about security. So I'm going to send this person a link, right? And this has to do with the whole unemployment rate and all the jobs that are available, right? It's very black and white. It's very simple why there's so much opportunity today, right? But we saw a 60% increase in attacks. So while folks were getting furloughed and terminated and laid off, I got 3 promotions. And I'm not saying that from a cocky or conceited perspective, right? Because I'm not the best thing that's ever happened since sliced bread. And there's certainly folks who are way more technical than me. What I'm saying is that I have a skill set that's so in demand, right? That's so in demand and not disposable, right? So all I have to do is show up, do my job, and protect my company, right? That's my goal. And no matter what happens with the security controls in place, place with folks, showing up to work every day, there's always going to be a new threat, a new vulnerability, right? And we'll talk about that, right? What do you guys think the number one threat to every organization is? I want you to drop it in the chat. What do you think the number one threat to every single organization is? Well, we talked about people, right? People are the biggest liability, but what kind of people, right? Emails, stealing info. You guys are really, really adding some real value in here, and I love that. And I'm going to answer that question momentarily as you guys continue to, drop in what you guys think is the number one threat. All right, I want to hear the top two. Moving on, number 3, the rise of IoT. Who here knows what IoT is? IoT stands for Internet of Things. So with that being said, I have a question. What devices do you guys own? Janet, what devices do you own? You mind sharing with the class?
Sure. I have an iPhone, a Mac.
Okay, that's 1. Who's keeping count? 1, Mac computer, that's 2.
An iPad.
3.
What do you call those watches?
Apple Watch.
Yeah, I got an Apple Watch. I got a smart TV.
5.
Does my car count, like the Bluetooth and all that?
Sure does. That's number 6. Do you have an Alexa?
I don't actually. Those kind of freak me out.
Smart girl. Smart girl. Do you have any type of Bluetooth speaker? Do you have a 7? Do you have a personal laptop? Do you have a work laptop, or do you have more than one laptop?
No,
8.
I'm at work. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll pause there. That's 8 devices, right? 8 devices right there. 8 internet heartbeats. 8 internet heartbeats. That's what I want you to think about when you guys hear IoT, Internet of Things. 8 internet heartbeats, right? Did you know there is every second, there's 127 new devices connected to Wi-Fi. Every second, there's 127 new devices connected to the internet. So Johnny, I see cell phone, laptop, smart TV, Alexa, Google Fi, smart thermostat, right? I walked into my mother's house the other day for the first time in a few weeks, and I saw she had a Wi-Fi enabled AC. I said, oh, I got scared for a second. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? The AC on and on. We don't need to connect to Wi-Fi. I don't need to turn it on from my phone. That's just another access point. You gotta limit the access point. But guess what? The rise of IoT is not going anywhere, right? Currently, today, right, there's over 10 billion active IoT devices. Now, last time I checked, there wasn't even 8 billion people in this world, but there's more IoT connected devices than people on the planet, right? And the rise of IoT is only continuously growing, right? We're expected to see that number hit 50, right? Well, let me say this. Back in 2020, the average household had access to 10 devices, right? You just heard it from Janet herself. She has 8 of her very own. I bet you she has more than that. She actually put some time to think into it, because we were just at 8 and I had to stop you.
My Ring cameras as well.
9. There you go. There's 9 right there. So you point in case proven, right? By 2020, the average household had access to 10 devices. Janet is 2022, and you have 10 yourself. The average household in 2022 has 50 devices, 50 connected Wi-Fi connected devices, 50 access points, 50 internet heartbeats. Okay, so with the rise of IoT, that number is expected to hit 30 billion. I think by 2025, right? It was expected to hit like 36 billion devices. That's kind of scary, right? Because now we got Wi-Fi. What other devices do we have out there? We have Wi-Fi enabled fridges. We got Alexas. We got thermostats. You said Ring camera. We got ACs. Microwaves. All cars, right? Tesla. Who here has a Tesla, right? Right. Every single Tesla. We'll talk about that. But the rise of IoT is expanding the threat and the attack landscape. Okay. So this is all working in our favor. This is why this is so important, right? The rise of IoT is adding more reasons and more value for us to become cybersecurity professionals. And that leads me to my next point, number 4, national security risk, right? Cybersecurity is the number one skill set of the future. And I consider it to be the number one trade of the 21st century. And I also consider it to be the front line of defense and backbone to every industry for number 4, right? It's a national security risk, right? This is a needs-based business. This is not a game. This is not a joke. These companies don't have an option, right? We're in the age of information technology. And so last year in 2021, Joe Biden made an announcement, right, in the White House in partnership with, I believe, Google and Microsoft to allocate $30 billion to what? To improve and increase cybersecurity readiness and ramp up cybersecurity efforts.